Hi there. I'd like to spend a few minutes talking about EduNXT Course Designer and EduNXT Repository. These are two strategic projects that I've proposed as part of our Learning Technology workshop. And in this session, I just want to share with you a conceptual overview of how I see these two tools working. So let me first start with what I see are the challenges that we're trying to address here. And these are largely based on my experience at U21 Global, as well as Global Next University. Let me start with the process challenges. When we built a course at U21 Global, it took too long, far too long, to actually build a course. We were spending 6 months at least, anywhere between 6 to 12 months in order to build a new course from scratch. We actually had quite a large learning design team. They spent a lot of effort taking that content, digitizing it, and putting that course online. Again, it's a very labor-intensive process. It's actually very hard for faculty to maintain or change courses without having to go through the learning design effort again. Even very, very small changes that faculty wanted to make had to go through the whole cycle of learning design, digitization. Again, it's a very lengthy process. Faculty could not make any changes to the course content on the fly. In fact, any changes we wanted to make, we had to notify the learning design team at least 3 months in advance for them to schedule it in, and that was not a great process. And it just ends up being a very laborious, very time-consuming, very expensive process, and I'm not too sure that the output of that process in terms of high-quality course content, I'm not too sure if that process actually justified the outcome. My personal opinion is that the best courses are always developed incrementally over time. You never start off with the very best version of a course. You develop a baseline course, you teach it a few times. Every time you teach it, you improve it, you refine it, you add new things, until after a few sessions it becomes a very, very good course, and that's how you develop high quality courses. So those were the process challenges. Let me talk about the drivers. Why is this important to GNU? Well, GNU needs a capability to build new courses much more quickly and more cheaply. We're going to be rolling out new programs for which there'll be lots of new course development. We can't afford, nor do we have the same level of financial investment as we did previously. So that's a key driver for us. What's the opportunity? Well, there's a wealth of high quality open access learning resources that are now freely available, and YouTube is a very, very good example of that. Why reinvent course content when high quality content exists already? Doesn't make sense. And there are a lot of ebooks and e-libraries that you can actually now get very good course content from, and there's no reason why you need to recreate all this kind of course content from scratch again. There's also an opportunity to share learning materials across Manipal institutions. So if I wanted to develop a new course and take advantage of course content that was available, say in SMU-DE, then there's an opportunity for me to leverage off that course content. And that's obviously going to be helpful to the course development process. So what is the solution? Well, as I see it, the solution is as follows. It's to actually empower faculty members with faculty-centric tools that enable them to rapidly build and maintain courses in an agile manner. That's what I see as the solution to these challenges. So what I'm proposing here is the EduNXT Repository and Course Designer. Now, there are existing tools called learning content management systems. And if you've ever used or looked at any of these tools, these are very much back-end tools. They're very highly technical tools. They're not faculty-centric. They're not the kind of tools that professors can go in and start to use. They're very, very technical. They're designed for a different kind of purpose. They're not the kinds of tools that I'm proposing here. What I'm proposing is a set of different tools. And let me start with the right-hand side, the EduNXT repository. This is a repository of reusable learning objects that faculty can use when they build new courses. And they can maintain learning objects within the EduNXT repository. There are different kinds of repositories. You might have a private personal faculty repository. I, for example, might have my own repository that I don't want to share with anyone. They're my own personal videos that I want to use in my classes. There might also be departmental repositories. So a school of business might have a repository that has its own learning content for its business programs there. Doesn't necessarily want to share that content with the School of Media. These are different schools with different content. If you go on the right-hand side, the EduNXT Course Builder is a tool that a faculty member will use when they create or maintain an existing course. And one of the first things they'll do is select the course design template that they want to use. I'll speak more about this course design template concept in the next slide, but this is a key concept. And once they selected the course design template, they can then begin to create their course using that template. So it's a very simple conceptual overview, but actually it's a very, very powerful set of tools. This is just a workflow that I've described here. So let's look at the concept of a course design template. And the key thing here is that this empowers faculty to build different kinds of courses. So examples of different kinds of courses are as follows. There could be a standard 14-week Global Next University kind of course. That's our standard course format. But we run a lot of executive education courses for corporations. So another kind of course design template is a 4-week executive course. Then there could be research and thesis-based courses, which might go on for several years. It's a different kind of course, has a different kind of course template. Everyone's talking about MOOC courses. Well, that's another course design template. If I wanted to create a MOOC course, I should be able to do that within the EduNXT platform by selecting the appropriate course design template. And of course, you have the traditional SMU, DE kinds of courses, which are more perpetual in nature, and you can create those kinds of courses as well by selecting the right course design template. So this is an incredibly powerful concept, a course design template. It gives you the ability to use learning content to build different kinds of courses. Now, once a professor has selected the right course design template they want to use, that template now appears on the screen, and then they can start populating that template with the learning content that they want to put inside that course. So conceptually, it's a very, very simple set of workflow and activities, and at the same time, it's incredibly powerful. I don't believe there are any learning management systems that provide this kind of capability right now. So this would really be a differentiator for us. So let's look at the EduNXT repository. This is the other aspect that's important to this whole learning architecture. This is a repository of learning objects, and as I mentioned, there are different kinds of repository within that learning repository, and you can have lots of different kinds of learning objects. And again, these are templates that we can create, examples of the kinds of learning objects you can have there based on our kind of GNU learning methodology, learning outcomes, modules, topics, videos, discussions, assignments, readings, self-assessment questions, and tests. These are the different kinds of learning objects that one can create and put inside the EduNXT repository. And different institutions can have different kinds of learning objects. We can create an unlimited number of learning objects, and we can use them and repurpose them in lots of different ways. So again, this is an incredibly powerful tool. It's designed for faculty to use, and it provides them with a lot of capability to create an interesting course based on reusable components, and it's a very agile way for them to create these new courses very, very quickly. So that's it. Thanks.